morning, Mehrzad. Thank you for joining me. Can you introduce yourself to the Informs membership?
Sure. Good morning. I'm Mehrzad Mehrabipour. I received my bachelor and master both industrial engineering with honors. I was a lecturer for about 2 years in an industrial engineering department. I taught quality management and advised several bachelor's projects on process improvement in the healthcare field. And teaching this course and researching supply chains in transporting lineage among hospitals invited me to think about the great impact of transportation systems. So I received my second master degree in civil engineering with transportation engineering emphasis from Washington State University while I was a PhD. Now I'm completing my PhD in civil engineering with transportation systems, a specialization at NC State University, and hopefully will defend in the summer. My research focuses on the development of distributed and decomposition methodologies to solve larger scale traffic assignment problems.
Great. And how long have you been an Informs member?
It's been 5 years since 2016.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you. So you got your undergraduate degrees in Iran, is that correct?
Yes.
How did you learn about operations research and management science in Iran? And what was the deciding factor for you to pursue your degrees there in this career field?
When I was finishing high school, I started researching different disciplines. My uncle was a university faculty, and he introduced me to several of his colleagues in different disciplines. Talking to my uncle's colleagues led me to pursue a bachelor in industrial engineering field because I found a meaningful connection between my desire in improving different systems and the industrial engineering field that provides tools like operation research to do so. Facing inefficient systems had shaped this thought for me that even minor improvements in processes of systems will be amplified into wide-ranging effects on society. And operation research provides tools to make a positive change in enhancing the performance of our systems. And this thought is the main reason for pursuing careers in this field. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Have you found any barriers for underrepresented minorities in these STEM careers throughout? You have many degrees, or even if you haven't experienced them, what do you think are the most significant barriers and any possibilities to remedy them?
Yeah, sure. I think a lack of role models is one of the most significant barriers for underrepresented minorities in STEM careers. As a woman, as a first-generation college student, an international student, I am aware of the obstacles that underrepresented individuals should overcome to function well. For instance, I have seen and experienced that women in STEM fields face social isolation in academia, and they are excluded from scholarly interactions. I think these barriers can be remedied by working on our unconscious biases, acknowledging that, and actively work against them to ensure we do not prejudge and decide based on the identity of people. Attending workshops and continuously reading and learning about diversity helps us to stay aware of our unconscious biases and avoid them to control our decisions. I think considering talent retention by providing an environment that all students, regardless of their identities, feel they will succeed and can make a difference. I think we need to make sure that diversity and inclusion go hand in hand and both need the same attention, since a diverse environment does not guarantee inclusion and vice versa. We need to ensure offering provisions is according to the needs of students to ensure equity, and not just offering equal rights, ignoring the ability of marginalized individuals or students. We can contribute to diversity and inclusion by serving and supporting various organizations for minorities like Women in Transportation Seminar, Society of Women Engineers, Women in OR and MS, taking initiatives and designing programs in which we design and implement outreach events such as workshops to raise awareness of careers in science and graduate education, specifically for marginalized groups or other ways that help remedy the situation. I have also some personal experiences about that. My personal experiences drive my passion to take action on diversity and provide a sense of belongingness for others through mentoring and leadership to help with increasing women's representation in STEM fields, and specifically advancing women in transportation, which is my specific field. I got involved with women's seminars in transportation as a graduate coordinator. For instance, I created a LinkedIn page for our organization to inform women students about available resources to succeed in their studies. I post fellowships, scholarships, conferences, and meetings every week. And sometimes I feature students with different identities, and inviting women leaders has helped minority students to stay motivated when things get really hard during the semester. And some of our other activities include inviting women leaders in industries to teach job interview skills, and collaborating with the Transportation U Mentor Program, that is an outreach and mentorship program for girls between ages of 10 to 18.
Wow, that's great. So I have a bunch of questions following up from that. So you mentioned Women in ORMS, which is one of Inform's forums, the WORMS group, and we also have the Minorities Issues Forum. Do you think that one of Inform's missions right now, a big one, is the diversity, equity, and inclusion. We have a committee now, it's only a few years old. Is there anything else that you would like to see Informs do to help promote this mission?
I think they are doing well. I have the opportunity to attend in person and some of the virtual meetings for women in transportation, women in operation research and management science. And I think the work that they are doing is great, and they have a very supportive community. They try to help each other in any way. So, for example, they connected me with someone from assistant professor from Carnegie Mellon University, and she has helped me a lot in finding academic jobs and in connecting me with people and in preparing my academic materials.
Great, thank you. You also mentioned the lack of role models in the STEM field for women and other underrepresented minorities. Do you think it would be helpful to start promoting these careers at a younger age to get more women and minorities into STEM? And if so, how do you think we could promote analytics careers to high school students or even younger?
Yes, of course. I think it's the best to start from high school. So I think educating high school students about the role of analytics in solving real problems is key in promoting analytic careers. And having some like introducing them and familiarizing them with some role models in this field, specifically role models from minorities, is going to help them a lot to have a sense of they can also succeed in future. Educating high school students can be accomplished by designing curriculums that contains practical applications of analytics that closely resembles academic and industrial practices. I think we need to empower students to solve a variety of reasonable and real-world problems that are appropriate for their levels by actively applying analytics and practicing analytics latest technologies in the classroom. I think real-world examples help students perceive how analytics can help them in their future careers and invite them to think about pursuing analytic careers.
If you could choose anyone as your role model or mentor, who would you pick?
Yeah, that was a really hard question. So I think there are many persons that I can pick as an outstanding mentors. So let me travel back in time.
Okay.
And let me choose George Danzig, since most of the fundamentals of my research are based on what has been done by him. What attracts me the most is his vision of how he came up with novel ideas in operation research to solve complex problems.
Great, thank you. I know that's a tough one, sorry. So what's your ideal career after you've completed this PhD?
My ideal career would be being a university faculty, because during my education, once I deeply learned something, I wanted to transfer it to others, and I always wanted to be a teacher. I was determined. I am determined that I want to be a professor and researcher, working on the front line of education and research.
Great. And you've mentioned this earlier as well, that your main research interest is in transportation systems. Do you have anything that any research you're working on now that you can talk about?
In my dissertation, I propose efficient approaches to optimize time-dependent routes of vehicles to improve traffic operations in urban transportation networks. Traffic assignment problems have large temporal and spatial scales with complex traffic dynamics. Therefore, solving this problem requires high computational efforts and memory. The shared idea among the methodologies that I've been working on is to convert the problem into sub-problems using different techniques like decomposition techniques. The optimization of sub-problems needs fewer computations due to small decision spaces. The sub-problems are then coordinated through different techniques that I've been working on, such as master problems, information exchange graphs, or direct communications. One thing that I think stands out among the works that I've been working on is employing the notion of information exchange graph that coordinates sub-problems without requiring a central component. This research also takes this new capability to the next stage by solving the problem in real time with tight optimality gaps. I can add this line of research resulted in innovative heuristic and optimization-based approaches that solve larger problems in less time with lower computational resources compared to state-of-the-art approaches.
Thank you. Has the pandemic impacted your research in any way? Have you had to stop working on something to then now relate the pandemic to your research, or have you just been trucking along with your dissertation?
Well, I think because my work is mostly by like coding, programming, and with software, it didn't impact my research that way. But I was thinking in another way about this question. Um, I think this pandemic created new research directions in my field
Mm-hmm.
that have not been existed before or were not thought to be significant.
Yeah. So what is your least favorite mode of transportation? And can you apply a routing problem to make it better?
Yeah, this one was another one. So I think my least favorite mode of transportation is bus. Um, because it reminds me of my school buses that had so many stops before getting home. And I had to wait too much to get to home. I mean, after getting tired, after
Right.
being at school for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure whether any routing strategy can make them more efficient, but certainly having better network designs can benefit them.
Okay.
Um,
Thank you. You served as a facilitator during the virtual 2020 annual meeting. Thank you for volunteering for that. Can you talk a little bit about this experience and anything that you learned from it?
I hosted informal conversations on 3 sessions or topics on transportation science and logistics, job search challenges, and supply chain management. In this virtual annual meeting platform, there were networking launched, and each launch had several tables for face-to-face conversations.
Mm-hmm.
I facilitated conversations and helped to build connections among people on that floor. There were absolutely wonderful things about this platform, like opportunities to meet, chat, connect, interact with other attendees. And it was clear how much effort had been put in to make this happen. Um, the things that I learned, I mostly learned how to start a discussion with persons who I don't know, or how to find common things to discuss with persons from different fields.
Yeah, sorry, I'll come back to it. But so have you been to any of the in-person annual meetings in previous years?
Yeah, I mean, during the past years, from 2016, I attended Informs every year.
Great. So now that you've been to both versions of our annual meeting, do you have any pros and cons about the virtual versus in-person conference you can share with us?
Yeah, I think when you need to physically be present at the conference, you dedicate your entire time to conference activities. So you can spend some quality time in the meeting and get the most out of a conference. While in a virtual conference, you may still have to work on your daily job activities. And about the cons, some of the disadvantages of in-person conferences are limitations on travel and travel costs. However, in a virtual setting, people can join the meeting from anywhere in the world without being worried about how to travel to the conference location. It is more accessible for everyone, I think.
Yeah, true. Thank you. Which Informs journal do you read the most and why? I think I know the answer to this. Is it transportation science?
Yeah, I have like three ones that I read the most.
Okay.
One is operation research, second one is management science, and the third one that you mentioned is transportation science.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason for choosing these and like going over these journals over and over again throughout the year is because my research is dedicated to mathematical and methodological developments to solve traffic assignment problems that address fundamental issues and challenges in realism and tractability. And I think these journals have high quality papers with solid contributions and fundamental theories, which help me in shaping ideas to solve my research problems.
Great. Thank you for reading them. Do you also read ORMS Today, the membership magazine?
Yeah, I receive emails frequently sometimes and about like some news or some webinars. And yeah, I go through them and I read them just to get some inspiration.
Good. Thank you. If you could go anywhere in the world right now safely, traveling, all expenses paid, where would you go?
I would go to my home country, Iran.
You still
Um,
have family there?
yeah, I haven't seen my family for 5 years.
Oh my gosh.
So I definitely would go there.
No. Well, hopefully you can get there soon.
Thank you.
Yeah. What do you do for fun? What do you do to relax?
Yeah, I think there are lots of things I do, but the best way for me to relax when I am stressed out is to talk, like
Yeah.
either to my husband, my mom, or my sister. Also, I do painting and gardening. This also helped me relaxing and having fun when I find the time.
Nice. So we all did this past year. What was your favorite thing to binge watch during the height of the pandemic when we were all definitely stuck inside?
Yeah. I don't know if it's weird or not, but I didn't watch any.
No
Uh, no, nothing. So, but I watched.
movies, nothing.
No,
Oh,
not TV like series,
right.
but I watched like tutorials on abstract painting,
Oh,
and I started to do like abstract painting.
that's cool.
Yeah.
That works. Great. Well, thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you.